We escaped the news of devastating wildfires, floods, and hurricanes, the news of billionaires fighting each other and making the world a much worse place, and of course, news of one man doing very bad things to find out that he did them by himself, most likely, to give you more not great news. A study came out recently that has a striking show of decline in U.S. homicide clearance rates, meaning that nearly half the murder cases that go out there in the world are going unsolved. FBI data is showing that national rate for murder crimes being solved goes from over 80% in the 60s to about 51% in 2020, remaining around there mid-50 range through 2022. This translates into thousands of crimes and criminals getting out of any justice, crimes not being solved each year, and fuels concerns about law enforcement and communities going forward. Experts actually highlight multiple contributing forces to these things. There are dramatic reductions in police functions and their staffing. So there's not enough police there to get work done, especially post-pandemic. There's a rising distrust between communities and law enforcement, which made it seem bad in the past, but right now it's even worse. So there's not much cooperation for people looking for the bad guy. And a growing prevalence of firearm-related homicides, which are, oddly enough, hard to solve. Just because someone shoots somebody literally there doesn't mean it's really easy to put that person away. Clearance rates are varying sharply based on demographic and location again. So black and Hispanic victims' cases are solved at notably lower rates of crimes than white victims. And that may be because they're more inclined to look for the murder of the white victim than any other person. Now, cities like Chicago, it's a lot of news because of gun violence. Clearance hovers around 44%. The national average is 45%, so there's a disparity there in some places that both FBI and local data can't really come together. But it's an average, so some places are higher than other. And with Chicago being where it is as sort of a focal point, essentially a conservative talking point of how bad things are, you can see why they're getting such love or hate in this case. When murders go unresolved, the victims' families often grieve without any closure. A quick example is a recent case in Georgia where family members led the investigators to keep looking after the authorities ruled the death a natural cause, but then revealed flaws in the homicide response and oversight to the actual case. This was a case where they thought it was something that was natural, so says the police, only to have the family members find that it was a bit more foul play involved. With things like that, it's easy for communities to lose faith in the justice system and in the systems of policing and just general investigating. And they face elevated risks of unsolved homicides to embolden more people to do more offensive, basically do more homicides, and erode the public trust even further. There is increasingly lack of accountability and just an effort in solving violent crime. Even though the public demands it, it may seem like an effect from the true crime genre. People want to know the end of the story, but it seems like things aren't actually going so well, except in certain places. Some places are trying to work harder to actually fix this. Places like Omaha, Boston, Denver, and right here in my state of Arkansas have expanded homicide units because they want to actually solve these crimes. They bolster community trust with civilian staff and utilize data-driven approaches to see clearances rates climb significantly. But experts assert that the boosting solved case rates in some places is the best way, most effective way for deterring violence in harsher sentencing. Sorry about that. So basically, if you can solve the crime of more of them, you can give them normal causes, but you know you'll get caught, as opposed to giving someone that you do catch a harsh sentence because that's an actual non-deterrent because most people don't get caught. Using enhanced staffing and data use and community trust to rebuild the rates of solving these cases is a good thing. It reduces repeat offenders and makes sure that people actually get some justice and closure in some cases. Prosecuting violent crimes because they are violent, not just because you can let them go away and just ignore them, restores a faith in the system that is just. Justice is fair and that you look out for the little guy. The problem is rising crime rate volumes and resource constraints makes it harder for investigators to actually get the work done, overwhelmed by the workloads they have. And that social mistrust cannot be fixed instantly. Dead ends are built because long-standing ruptures in the public and policing have been built. Rebuilding them takes funding, takes time, takes the right people in the programs. I've known people in some of these programs, police officers, who do their best to do community policing and grow a great way to engage with and a touching and a feeling and a being part of the community. But one or two guys on a force that people think is totally corrupt ain't going to make it work anytime soon. The fix, improve America's clearance rates, and we'll take care of all of it. But there's a problem. Structural changes must be done to improve those clearance rates and set things up. You need better resources to get work done. You need stronger police community collaboration and data-driven investments. Otherwise, the cycle continues with unsolved murders that becomes even larger for America to get over with. And of course, with our grim love for true crime, we kind of want some answers. We kind of want the answers. We can't have a dateline, can't have a 20 minutes, 60 minutes investigates. You can't have all the podcasts without an answer. So we need less crime, obviously, but we need more crimes that are out there to be solved. And not just for the curiosity of the true crime genre, but it makes it better for all of us. We can live with less true crime if we had less crime because we caught more criminals doing crimes. Sounds like a simple solution. Apparently, it's not so simple.